Good morning, students. Good morning, special good morning to Swati and Vashini. So today you are going to see about LCD interfacing. Okay. So LCD interfacing, you know that it's a liquid crystal display. In LED, that is light emitting diode, some of the characters cannot be displayed by using a single LED. The characters like W and etc. So we are going for this LCD display. Okay. So here we have size is 2 cross 16 means there will two lines will be there of 16 characters. So hope you can see the difference between CRT and LCD display. Okay. So nowadays in our home also we are having all the displays will be LCD. So it is we have in various configurations, one line into 20 characters and two lines into 16 characters. And there are two registers, no, command register and data register. To select these two registers, we are using this RS signal, and the data lines are DB7 to DB0. So already I have taught this in the previous class. Just a refreshing of this. So this is the diagram how the microcontroller is connected with an LED, LCD display module. Okay. So as I said, 8051 we have four ports, no, port 0, port 1, port 2, and port 3. Except port 3, all the three ports can be used to connect all the interfacing devices. So here we have connected the LCD display to the ports P port 1, and this is RS is the register select signal, which is connected to port 3.2, and read and write signal, this is connected to port 3.3, and E is the enable signal which is used to connect, which is connected to P3.4. So these are the control signals. Okay. So as I said, port 3 can be used to represent the control signals. So this is the two modes of operation in which the LCD can be interfaced, 4-bit mode and 8-bit mode. So 4-bit mode is 4 bits will be used to transfer the data. So 8-bit mode means 8 bits will be used to transfer the data. And so these are the commands we have to give. 0, 1 means it will clear the screen. That is, these are the initialization steps for the LCD. 02 is return home, and in the monitor, the LCD monitor, it must be clear, and also the display must be on, and the cursor also must be on, and the cursor must be in the blinking state. This is the initial condition. Okay. So by using these commands, we can set the LCD display in the first step, that is initialization step. Okay. You can select any commands here. So the algorithm is, so we have to go for this read or write signal, whether we are going for read or write. That is, okay. So here R1, if it is 0 means it represents write signal. Second one is whether we are going to give the command or data. So that is used by representing the RS signal. When the register select signal equal to 0 means it represents data. Sorry, command, and if it's register select equal to 1 means it represents the data. And the next one is after placing the data, we have to give the pulse. That is a high to low transition. Okay, 1 to 0. Pulse must be given so that it will be initiated. And for sending the data, we have to repeat the steps. Now let's see the program for this. So this is the interface diagram. An example I have taken is we are going to display 15 characters. Okay, that is stored in the memory. One by one, we are going to display. So according to this diagram, see here, port 2 is connected to the LED, LCD. Okay, port 2 is connected for data transfer. Okay, port 2 is used for data transfer. Now let's see the program here. First one is we are initializing the LCD. So the command is 01. So we are calling a command. Command is nothing but a subroutine here to display the data. Okay. So in this program, I have used two subroutines, that is command and display. Subroutine is suppose if 10 lines are repeated again and again, so that can be written as a subroutine and kept anywhere in the memory. And whenever it is needed, we can call the subroutine. Okay. So I'm calling this. First data is I'm clearing the LCD display. So the command value is 01 as referred in the table. And then we have I'm calling the command subroutine. So that will control the LCD display. So it will clear the LCD. The next one is I want to make it the LCD on, cursor on, and cursor must be in the blinking state. Okay. So for that, the command word is 0E. So I'm moving that to accumulator and calling the subrouter command. So according to that, now the LCD will be clear, then the LCD will be on, and the cursor will be on, and the cursor will be in the blinking state. So next one is, sorry, I have stored all the data in the memory location starting from 5000. So the DPTR register, that is the data pointer register, is initialized with 5000. Okay. Then R0 is equal to 0F. That is, I'm going 15 data are there. So 15 hexadecimal equivalent is 0F. That is loaded in the R0 register. So I'm going to use as a counter register. Okay. So next instruction is move XA, DPTR. So data in this memory location is transferred to accumulator. Okay. Then I'm calling a display routine, which is used to display. So the display routine will display the data in the LCD. So the first data is displayed. Okay. So next is I have to fetch the second data, which is available in 5001. So what I'm doing is I'm incrementing the data pointer. Okay. INC data pointer. Yeah, INC DPTR. So data pointer is incremented. So it becomes 5001. Next one is I'm decrementing the counter register. DJN is decrement and jump if not 0. Okay, decrement and jump if not 0. So actually here when I decrement, so it is not 0. Okay, it is not 0. So I'm going to this loop. So the loop is here. Again, what I'm doing, the data in that DPTR is transferred to accumulator. So now DPTR refers to 5001. So data in that memory location is transferred to accumulator. And again, I'm calling the display routine to display that character. Okay. So next, again, I'm going for the third data. Like this, the process must be repeated 15 times. Okay. That is until the R0 value becomes 0. So this is the total program here. So this is the command subroutine. So for the subroutine, the last line must be a return instruction, okay, RET. So after executing this RET only, the control will transfer to the main program. And here another display routine here. So here also this routine is used to display the data. And the last line of the subroutine must be a return instruction. So the command and display routine is calling another routine which is called as delay. Okay, so see here, it's a delay. And here also we have a delay subroutine. So coming to this delay subroutine, so it is nothing but a 10 lines or 15 lines program that will be executed for 10 milliseconds or whatever time it is. So here, this is a delay program. 5 into 5 times the program will be executed. This is nothing but a loop, no? What you have in the C program, I loop and J loop, like this. So we can have any program. So addition program also can be there, whatever instructions can be. So 10 instructions or 15 instructions can be there. So that will be executed for some milliseconds, right? So when you're executing the delay instructions, the value in the main program or any other program must not be changed. So according to that, you have to select the instructions in the delay program. Okay. So let me explain the command instruction. So what it is, first we have the instruction, remember that move to initialize the data, no? After that you are calling, let me go back. Yeah, 0, 1, and we are calling the command routine. Okay, so now this accumulator contains a value 0, 1. So that is moved to port 1. So through port 1, the data is sent out. Okay, so the data 0, 1 will be available here. Okay, so now we have to make it the conditions. So what is it? First one is we have to select the register by using this RS0. Since it is a command, so RS must be equal to 0. So we have RS signal. If it is 0, it is a command, and RS equal to 1 means it is data. So now it is command. Okay, RS0. See here, RS is connected to P3.2. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm clearing P3.2. It means that RS will be set to 0. So next condition is, so the read-write signal must be equal to 0. That is, we are writing the data into that. So R/W is connected to P3.3. To make it as 0, we have to clear it. Okay, so I have written here clear P3.3. Okay, so the third condition is I have to give a high to low transition. Okay, so this E is connected to P3.4. Okay, so high is E must be equal to 1. So I'm setting this bit 3.4. Set means equal to 1, clear means equal to 0. You know that. And next is I have to give E equal to 0. So I'm clearing it, P3.4. Okay. So now I'm calling the delay program. So that after executing this program, so we can see a clear display. That is, the LCD display will be clear. Whatever data in the buffer will be clear. Okay. So let me repeat this. So first initial value is 0, 1. So that is moved to port 1. Okay. Next is I have to give RS equal to 0. Since RS is connected to P3.2, I'm using this instruction clear P3.2. Okay. So next one is I have to give this, I have to enable the write signal. So read/write is connected to 3.3. So I'm giving here clear P3.3. And next is I have to give the transition from 1 to 0 through the enable signal. So first is I have set P3.4 and next is clear P3.4. And then I'm calling the delay subroutine. Okay, so the delay subroutine will be executed for some milliseconds and then it will come to this return. Then this return will go to the main program. Actually, we can call this as a recursion. So what do you mean by recursion? Recursive function, recursion. You have studied, recursion. What is recursion? What is recursion? Students, you must not forget this. These are the fundamentals for computer science students, engineers. What is recursion? Repetition of technique. A function calling itself. Okay, yeah. Repetition of technique. So let's go to here. See here. A command is calling another subroutine that is placed here. Okay. So that is recursion. So next, let's go to the display routine. So see here, this A contains the value to be displayed. That will be in the memory location. Okay. So again here, what is the differences? Here we are going to read the data. So RS must be equal to 1. See here in the previous one, RS equal to 0 and here RS equal to 1. The same color, this only changed. So what I'm doing is, instead of using this clear P3.2, I'm going for set B3.2. Okay. This 3 is repeated here. That is clear. That is, we are giving the right signal and we are giving the high to low transition and we are calling the delay subroutine. So as I said here, the delay subroutine, it will be executed 5 into 5 times, right? Hope you got it. Okay. So this is the program, total final program here. The first one is we are giving the commands to get the LCD ready, and then from the memory location, we are in the memory location we have stored 15 data. So every time you have to get the data, and we have to go for the display. Okay, that's all about this LCD display. Actually, this is the layer diagram of an LCD liquid crystal here. Okay, let me explain this. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So these are the others. Actually, here when you take this first one, here the output is all the, this is in the off stage. Okay, there's no display here. So the from this the light travels from the back towards here. Okay, so the light from one, the light travels here, uh, and here we have a horizontal polarizing filter. Number two is a horizontal polarizing filter. So in front of the light, this blocks out all the light waves except those vibrating horizontally. Since we have the horizontal diagram here, here it will block out all the light waves except those vibrating horizontally. Okay. Then we have the output as light waves will be in vertical direction. This is the third one. So fourth one is here, the transistor switches off the pixels. That is, the pixel will be go to the on stage. Okay, that makes the crystal straighten out and the light travels straight through them unchanged. Okay, so that we are getting the W shape. That is the fifth one. Okay, and next coming to the sixth one, we are having a vertical polarizing filter there. So it blocks out all the light waves except those vibrating vertically. So what you see is from the second one, we are horizontal is blocked, and the sixth one, the vertical is blocked. So vertical and horizontal, everything is blocked. So no light reaches the screen at this point. So the pixel will be dark. Okay, hope you got it. So in the second one, horizontal is blocked, and in the sixth one, vertical lines are blocked. Since the pixel is switching off. Okay, in the fourth level. Horizontal and vertical and blocked, so we get a black light here. There is no light reaches the screen at this point, so the pixel will be dark. Okay, coming to this one, the pixels are made switched on. So here what it is, first we have the horizontal one, and then we get the output as 3. So in the fourth one, what you're doing is the pixel is switching off, so that there will be a twist. Okay, so the crystal will rotate right waves by 90 degree. Okay, the crystal will rotate right by 90 degree. So when see this, the fifth one, it is another diagram there. So in vertically, the vibrating light will travel through that, so that the pixel is lit up red, blue, green. So we are getting the color in the seventh position. Okay. So when you refer the previous one, see here, this is both the third and fifth are both the same. Third and fifth, we have the both image. And here coming to this, we have twist here. Because we have switched off all the pixels. Twist because of this twist. So the light travels through this, and here this we can get the RGB colors. Okay, so like this only the pixels will be switched on. So that's all about the LCD interface. Tomorrow, actually, we are going to see about the keyboard interfacing, how the keyboards are interfaced with the microcontroller. So I have asked Kalyan Kumar to take and just again to brief out the keyboard and display controller, what you studied in the third unit. Okay. So Kalyan Kumar, can you continue?
Yes, ma'am. I'll start presenting, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And another one, students, today you are having the, what is it, quiz also, no? At 2:15. Do join that and do very well, okay? You have to score 100 marks, right? Okay. Kalyan Kumar, you can go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, good morning all. Okay, we'll just summarize or revise one of the important interface 8279. So hope you remember what is 8279 interface. What is 8279? Is it audible or not?
You're audible, Kannan Kumar.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, so we'll proceed. Okay, 8279 is nothing but your programmable keyboard bar display IO interface. So basically, if you take any microprocessor based system, we need an input device as well as was output device. So normally for input device, we use a keyboard, and for output, either we use a 7-segment display or LED or LCD. Okay, so this 8279 will serve those function. Okay, so it's a general purpose programmable keyboard, and also helps you to display what IO interface, mainly used for what in microprocessors. And Intel 8279, no, it is a dedicated controller. So usually it has been developed for interfacing keyboard and display devices, specifically to 8085, 8086, and 8088 microprocessor based systems. Okay, and we have certain features, important features of 8279. We here know, if you notice, means 8279 provides a simultaneous keyboard and display operations. Okay, so we have that feature, and we have a 2-key lockout and N-key rollover features with contact debounce features also provided. And different modes are available, like scanned keyboard mode, scan sensor mode, stopped input entry mode. We'll see what are the different modes available later. Okay, and then apart from that, we have 8-bit character keyboard, first in first out FIFO available. And we have 16-bit character display, either right or left entry 16-bit display RAM. With the help of that, we can able to achieve. And then apart from this, we have a mode programmable option from CPU. And one more feature is that we interrupt output on key entry. So that feature is also enabled here in 8279. So we have different features. All these features are inbuilt in 8279. Okay. So first we'll see features we over pin diagram anyway. Okay, so actually before going to pin diagram, you should know that 8279, know it provides an interface for maximum of 64 contact key matrix. So usually the 64 key matrix, it is arranged as 8x8 matrix array of key switches. Okay, and keyboard entries are usually they are debounced, and it will be stored in the internal FIFO RAM, which is available in the architecture. And apart from this, 8278, it also generates an interrupt signal for each key entry. So it will inform the processor to read that key code from the FIFO RAM. Okay, and 8278 also provides a multiplexed interface for 7-segment LEDs. Even it can use other popular devices like LCDs and all. Okay. So here this 8278 consists of 16x8 display RAM. Repeat, it consists of what? 16x8 display RAM. So usually it will be organized as two dual 16x4 RAM. It's available here. And before displaying, the CPU have to load the display codes in the RAM. So once the data is loaded, so obviously the 8278 will take care of the display, and it starts refreshing. Okay, and a maximum of 16 numbers of 7-segment LEDs can be interfaced using 8279. Okay, so these are the basic features which are available in 8279. Let us move to pin diagram next. So you can have a look at the pin diagram. So usually, 8279, it's a 40 pin dual inline package. So same as your 8086. So we'll see the function of each and every pin in detail. Okay. First, we'll start with okay, pin number DB0 to DB7, which means pins number 12 to 19. So pin numbers 12 to 19. So DB0 to DB7, which means they are bidirectional data bus. So all the command words and data, whatever it may be between the CPU and keyboard interface, it will happen to this with the help of this bidirectional data bus. Okay, and then pin number 3, clock. So obviously, system cost is usually required. So for the purpose of what? Generating a timing. Okay. So moving on to next pin number 9, reset. So reset means obviously it's an active high signal. So whenever a high on this pin, will obviously what resets your 8 to 7 in. So once it's been reset, the 8 to 7 will be placed, will be following happens actually. So one is by default, once you press your reset button, so by default it will be 8 to 7 in, it will provide a 16 8-bit character display. Left entry will be selected as default mode, and encoder scan keyboard. So out in that 2-key lockout and the program clock, it will be prescaled values will be set to 31. So we'll see what is encoder scan keyboard. Okay, and then chip select CS, because it was almost there in all the interfacing devices. Pin number 22. So obviously low on this pin will enable the 8 to 7 in interface to receive or transmit data. Okay, and then pin number A0, pin number 21. So obviously, what's active high signal? So whenever a high on this line indicates that the signals in and out are interrupted either as a command or status. Okay. So when if it is going to be low, it indicates that they are data. Okay. And then read write signals, very easy. Pin number 10 and 11. So both are active low signals. So whenever the read signal goes low, so it's what happens? So it means what? The output signal will be activated from microprocessor to 87 to receive data from any external bus. And write exact opposite to this. So data data will be sent to the from a CPU to external data bus. Okay, and then pin number 4 I left, I think so. Pin number 4, your interrupt request. So name itself indicate IRQ, interrupt request. So obviously what happens means whenever there is a high on this signal interrupt line, so mostly in keyboard mode. Okay, in keyboard mode, whenever there is a high on this interrupt line, so it indicates that there is a data in the FIFO RAM. So it is stored in data. So a low on this line, which indicates that what happens in low when there is low on this line. So when I say if there is a high on this line, so it's active high signal. So which means there is an interrupt request. Okay, if it is low means what? So which means what? Is going to perform your FIFO or sensor RAM is going to perform what? Read operations. Okay, but still the information will be available in your RAM. And then we have 3 scan lines available, SL0 to SL3, pin number 32 to 35. We have 3 different scan lines, 4 scan lines available. So these lines are used to scan this key switch basically. So either it can be encoded from 1 to 16 or it can be decoded 1 or 4. Okay, it depends. So we'll see in detail again. So in architecture, I'll explain you later about the scan lines. And then we have RL0 to RL7 return lines. Pin number 1, 2, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have these different lines, and also pin number 38 and 39. So these are called return lines. So actually they are input lines. So normally the return lines will be connected to your scan lines with the help of switches, okay, the key switches. Okay. Usually they'll be connected. Okay, so these lines, they'll serve as an 8-bit input in case of your stopped input mode. Okay, and then we have output pins, or we have two set of output pins, four, or in total we'll be having four. So out not to out 3 we have, I think A not to A3, and then B not to B3. So these will be called as what, output pins. Okay. So usually, as I said previously, we have what, 16x8 display, as I just now before, some time back. So usually now this will be organized as what, two dual 2 8 and 16x4. Same, that is here also. So we have two output ports for 16x4 display registers. Okay, and normally the data, no, it will be it will be synchronized to these scan lines. Okay, SL0 to SL3. For multiplexed digit displays. Okay, and sometimes the two 4-bit ports may also be used as a single 1-bit port also. It depends. Okay, and then we have a signal called BD, blank display pin number 23. So it's an output pin. Normally it is used to blank the display during any digit switching. Okay, or by using a simple blanking command. Okay, you can display, you can make the display blank. Okay, and then we have a shift pin number 36. Again, it's an input pin. It is actually, no, this pin input status is usually stored along with the position of the key closure in case of your scanned keyboard modes. Okay, and then we have supply pins as usual, pin number 20 and pin number 40, power supply pins. So plus 5 volt is required for its operation, and ground. Okay, so next we'll move on to the architecture of 8279. Okay. So you can just have a look at the architecture. From the architecture, you can able to get what are the blocks are available actually. So if you have a clean look at the architecture, no, usually the 8279 have 4 major sections. You can classify all the blocks under any one of these 4 major sections. So you have a keyboard section, we have a scan section, we have a display section, and we have a CPU interface section. So totally we have 4 different sections available. So we'll see one by one in detail. First, moving on to a keyboard section. So usually now in keyboard section, we have 8 return lines. Already we saw this in the pin diagram. So the keyboard section consists of 8 return lines, RL0 to RL7. Okay, so the function of these return lines are used normally, they are used to form a columns of your keyboard matrix. So previously I said we have a 64 contact key matrix, usually arranged as what, 8x8 matrix, no? So for those purpose, we use only was these return lines. Okay. So in addition to that, the keyboard section also has 2 pins, shift and control bus strobe. We have, I think pin number is 37. I left it. So okay, anyway, we have 2 additional inputs, shift and control bus strobe. Okay. So depending upon these pins, no, we'll have 2 different operating modes of keyboard section are possible, and one is your 2-key lockout, another one is your N key rollover. Okay, so I'll make it very simple. In case of your 2-key lockout means 2-key lockout mode means suppose if 2 keys are pressed simultaneously, only the first key will be recognized. Okay. So in 2-key lockout mode, if 2 keys are pressed simultaneously, the first key alone will be recognized. Whereas in case of your N key rollover mode, so simultaneous both the keys will be recognized, and their codes will be corresponding codes can be stored in your FIFO RAM. Okay, and it is called N key rollover. Okay, so apart from this, no, the keyboard section also has an 8x8 FIFO RAM, first in first out RAM. Okay, so this FIFO, the purpose of FIFO is to store 8 keyboards in the scan keyboard mode. Okay, And the status of the shift key and the control key are usually they also stored in along with the keyboard. And then so in 8279, no, it generates an interrupt signal where there is an entry in the FIFO. Okay, I think you can see that symbols available. There is a signal from the keyboard debones and control. Okay, and in case of your sensor matrix mode, you know, so actually, as I said, we have 64 switches. So the status of these is 64 switches, whether it is open or closed, no. So those details also will be stored in the FIFO RAM. Okay. So if the condition of any of the switches changes, then obviously the 8279, you know, it sends a signal IRQ request as high. It makes IRQ as high, and it interrupts your processor to change the status accordingly. So all this happens in your keyboard section. So moving on to your display section. So display section usually has 8 output lines. Here we have 8 output lines, usually divided into two groups: A0 to A3, one set of group, another set is going to be B0 to B3. So uh, either you can use all this as a single group of 8 lines, or two groups of 4 lines. So with the help of what multiplexed displays display. And so usually the output lines are connected to your anodes to a driver transistor with the help of a driver transistor. In case if you're going to use a 7-segment common cathode LEDs. Okay. So I think ma'am had discussed about it. We have LEDs. We have 2 different configurations: common cathode, common anode. Okay. So the common cathode, the cathodes are usually they'll be connected to the scan lines with help of what small driver transistors. Okay. And we have something called BD. Okay, so which means the display can be blanked with the help of this BD line. Okay, and in addition to this, the display section also contains a 16x8 display RAM. So with the help of this external CPU, can read from or write into from any location on the display RAM. And moving on to third section called scan section. So here we have a scan counter, and then we have 4 scan lines, SL0 to SL3. Okay. So in case of your decoder scan mode, so the output of your scan lines will be similar to your 2 to 4 decoder, 2 to 4 decoder. Whereas in case of your encoder scan mode, so the output of the scan lines will be in terms of binary. Okay. So you need to, which means we need an external decoder to convert the binary count into what decoder output. So that is the difference between decoder and encoder scan mode. Okay. So in case of encoder, you need additional external decoder to convert the binary count into decoder output. Okay. And the scan lines, they are common for both display as well as keyboard. Okay. And then we have another section called CPU interface section. So the CPUs, as the name indicates, a CPU, which means this section will take care of the data transfer between your 8279 and your processor. Okay. And it has 8 bidirectional data lines, DB0 to DB7. So these data lines are mainly used for data transfer between your CPU and 8279. And apart from this, it has 2 internal address lines, like A0. So first we'll discuss about A0. So A0 can be either 0 or 1. So it depends whether data buffer or control register of 8278. Okay. And we have in interface CPU interface section, we have few control signals like write, read, chip select. Mainly it is used for what read write operations of 8279. So in addition to it, the CPU's interface section also has an interrupt request line, IRQ. So it acts as interrupt driven data transfer with your processor. And clock, as I mentioned previously, got 8279, so it requires a normally clock frequency of around 100 kilohertz. So, and then so reset signal, we are talking about reset signal. So reset signal, it is normally used to set your 8279 in a 16-bit, 16 character display with 2 key Rockwell keyboard mode. And then we will be having so we actually we need to discuss about the operational modes and command word format. So operating modes, it's normally 8279 is usually designed to operate in 2 different modes. Input is your keyboard modes, and output is going to be your display mode. So input mode, again, we have three different modes: scanned keyboard, scan sensor matrix, and stoked input. Whereas output, we have display mode and display entry. Okay, so you have two different modes available. See, apart from this, you need to go through about the command line formats also available for a keyboard. So there are 8 different command words available. So you need to go through it also. Okay. So for time being, I'll stop with this. So whenever we have time, again we'll discuss about 8 to 7 in detail, or other interfacing devices in detail. So if you have any doubts, you can post your questions.